Hey, it's Julie. This episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast was really fun to record. Francine Bass, if you don't know her, she's a wealth of information. She's a VP of sales for United Group of Communities. They have multiple verticals and she has great strategic mindset. And as the author of Solving the Occupancy Puzzle, the way my mind works is, where there's a gap, a problem, an area, an outcome that's below expectation. And I want to figure out, okay, exactly what's causing that, where the gap is, and then what factors bubble it up into that. And then what do you do about that, right? So she's really specific, and this conversation really centers around their company's solution of virtual sales specialists, and she talks about the impact of implementing this solution into their portfolio. So hopefully you would enjoy the content. Stay tuned. Again, thank you so much for listening.
We'd like to thank Advantage Anywhere for sponsoring this episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast. At Advantage Anywhere, we understand senior living communities. Our customizable CRM and automation system is designed to help you convert more leads into move-ins faster, easier, and with less manual effort. With personalized follow-up automations, your team can focus on what matters most, spending time with prospects to get more move-ins. Visit www.advantageanywhere.com to see how we can help you get more move-ins with less stress.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast. I'm Julie Podewitz, and today I welcome Francine Bass to the show. Hi, Francine.
Hello, Julie. Thank you for having me today. Very excited to be here.
I was looking forward to this, Francine. Looking forward to this. Francine Bass is the Vice President of Sales for the United Group of Communities. United Group of Communities. And you are based where, Francine?
I am based in Fleming Island. So our company is based out of Troy, New York. And I am fortunate. I reside in Florida, the northern part of the state, with my daughter, and my eldest is very close by at University of Florida. But our company is based out of Troy, New York, and we are 50 plus years strong. A legacy company, family-owned business that's grown from small to large, nationally recognized in the senior space. But we're owners, developers, third-party managers, diving into military housing, commercial housing, multifamily student housing, where we have expertise in, and the largest footprint is in the Northeast. And then the senior space, independent living, active adults, largest footprint being in Florida.
Wow. Well, first of all, you look a little chilly there in northern Florida.
Really cold, Julie. I'm cold. Pennsylvania girl, I'm a disgrace to where I come from, but it is very cold, and they are threatening a little snow. And for the northern part of the state of Florida, we have school shutdowns today, so it's pretty remarkable.
Well, yeah, we're recording this in late January, and there's a deep freeze going everywhere. And Francine, I really enjoyed working with you. And I have a daughter at the other University of Florida, at Florida.
Oh, you're that mom.
Yes, we can still be friends. We can still be friends.
I didn't know that when I agreed.
Yeah, yes, you've got a gator, and I've got a knoll here. So we've got Florida covered. Yes. So United Group of Communities. Well, it sounds like, I mean, that is a vast portfolio, from military housing, student housing, multifamily, and certainly the senior space with the 55 plus, right?
Yeah, and that's the range. So while, the company over the course of 50 years has dipped their toes in several different areas of real estate. Primarily now we're in the multifamily space,
Got
active adult space,
Got it.
and the student environment. Exceptional developers. The taste is bar none. Wonderful, sophisticated design. We always have developments in the pipeline right now in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and in Florida. And we consider ourselves a boutique lease-up company and managing agent. We give personalized attention and figure out what works, treat each asset independently, and approach with a unique mindset, because we do believe that every asset and in varied markets is different, and it's not a one size fits all.
100%, 100%. We're hyper local business. Hyper local business, no doubt. You mentioned, Francine, something I jotted down. You said you're a boutique lease up and focusing on what works.
What work?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of challenges, and certainly in our business, and we all experience many of them in many different ways. But I'm always looking at solving the occupancy puzzle, right? What works, right? What works? So, can you tell us a little bit about like what's working for you? Because I think everybody would like to know. And what problem are you trying to solve?
Sure.
Yeah.
And so how we met was on the heels of really honing in on one of our challenges. And when I speak about specific challenges, we have, for example, assets on both coasts of Florida. They might as well be in different countries. We treat them differently. What works at the one did not work at the other, and vice versa. So what we learned was pretty universal at some of our struggling deals was that conversion of traffic to tour. We had great closers. Our teams were very acute at that in-person dynamic conversation, giving an exceptional tour, the follow-up, the components of the sales cycle that were in person. That dynamic we had nailed. What was challenging us was that traffic to tour conversion. What we learned from diving into that challenge is partnering with your company, with Grow, and decentralizing that piece of the cycle helped us increase our traffic to tour conversion, and then we could predict our outcomes a lot more successfully. So that was a universal, and that was the first time since I had been with United in just over 3 years that I found, okay, this is a universal solution. And probably one of the best things that I got behind in the course of 2024 and leading us on a solid foundation for 25. I know by inserting Grow and inserting the sales specialist, that 2-hour time, even if it's just 2 hours a day of your experts diving into our database, which in some cases, very healthy. I haven't seen lead generation. Our marketing department has done an exceptional job at driving really quality leads, where it's almost we have an overabundance. So we need an expert to dive in that doesn't have competing priorities, that can give that uninterrupted time and scrub our databases. And by doing that, our teams were teed up some really exceptional tours, resulting in helping us find residents homes, and then learning if we aren't a good solution sooner for many people as well.
So I'm very pleased to hear that, no doubt. And for those of you listening that might not know what Francine is referring to, she's referring to virtual sales specialists to partner in with and be part of your sales team. And you've identified specifically traffic to tour, which is not uncommon, and your on-site sales teams are focused then, certainly they're doing calls, of course, but they're really able to focus more on the time, time spent planning and doing tours and doing follow-up.
The other sales behaviors, which require a lot of time and attention and are
Right.
so important. They're all important. All sales behaviors are important. But especially in the active adult space, the staffing models are slender, and there are competing priorities that come up as we grow in our occupancy. The demands on our site teams change. And whereas we'd like to keep our sales associates very insulated, that's not always possible. So the partnership with Grow has helped us to navigate those competing priorities as they arise, but keep that flow of tour volume consistent, where we've implemented your solution. And that's just one piece of your solution that we've explored. We haven't explored others, but the virtual sales specialist, in my opinion, I like to take credit for it, and I will. That it was a great decision, and I'll.
Well, certainly you did, it was your decision, so I would definitely give you all the credit. I'm curious, Francine, you mentioned that you're an operator and you are a manager, third-party manager. There are many, 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 many third-party managers and operators doing a great job out there. And one of the many challenges can be multiple ownership groups within a portfolio, and managing all of that, all of the dynamics there. And I've certainly been on that in that seat of those challenges, both now and as an operator. How do you address coming to an owner and saying, oh, we would like to add sales to this virtual sales specialist, a third party? Oh my gosh, so many people, the third party, and it's going to cost X, it's going to cost, whatever it costs. And we already have a full-time salesperson.
Yeah.
Why, how come they're not doing the job? Have you ever come across that? And how do you address that?
Well, we lead with the outcome. What we've learned from the partnership with you is your grows. I should stop saying your the reporting that we receive from this partnership is investor ready. So we can utilize those reports as examples, and then tie that into the outcomes that we could predict for a particular owner. So we would lead with the outcome in the conversation that we anticipate. And the great thing about your Grow's platform is we can kind of guarantee the results, because you truly are results driven, and that it's cleaner. It's cleaner, and the predictability is there, even to the point of having a backup sales specialist, a backup virtual sales specialist for each asset that knows our asset inside and out. But we're covered. We don't have to think about, okay, if somebody gets ill, if they run into something, our business will not be interrupted, whatsoever. And inclement weather, anything, it's not going to interrupt the business. So we can approach those conversations with a lot of confidence. We have had no issue in delivering that. I think not after the first two relationships, the first two assets, it became much easier. And then actually using the reporting that we have in hand, and case studies that are our own, it became very easy.
But initially, it's just a risk.
Well, it was an unknown. It was an unknown, and I'll tell you myself, I wasn't sure. I was I did my homework, I did my due diligence on your company, and I expected good things. I anticipated positive, but I had no idea it would be to the degree that it ended up being. No idea. It far exceeded the outcomes I anticipated, far exceeded what I was imagining.
So how, have you all ever used a call center?
Yeah,
Okay.
super different
Okay.
experience, and that's the challenge. That's a challenging piece of a conversation with an owner, for example, an investor, or even internally. It was when we roll out, people want to know what's the this is like a call center. No, it's not. I could see how people arrive at that because it's the only point of reference they've known. Virtual sales specialist is unique to our space, unique to multifamily, unique to active adult, and it was unique to our organization. So confusing it with a call center happened. But the way that I like to relate to it, and I hope this doesn't offend you, the sales team, and I've requested like the same sales specialist because I like how they work. I refer to them as sales gladiators. So you're getting a hyper sophisticated level of sales talent through Grow, through a virtual sales specialist. And I'm sure there are other platforms similar to yours, Julie. I've just been fortunate to find yours. And it's no comparison to a call center. The level of experience you get through this partnership is different. Call centers are working on, I think a different talent platform. So, and there's good, I've actually had shops that were done on personnel from call centers and done really well, historically, I think you get varied levels of talent.
Sure.
And the thing with Grow is that you get a consistent level of talent.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, we certainly hold the bar very, very high. I do. And uh, I'm asking you questions that I know others ask me, and when they ask when they, the people who might be bought in at one level get resistance, right? From, I'm always looking at what, and I know you are too, what problem, where's the gap? We can see the outcome, right? The outcome is not enough sales or not enough move-ins. It's solving the occupancy puzzle, right?
Right.
And then there's multiple factors that may bubble up into this one area. And so what you've done is, okay, here's this challenge almost across the entire portfolio, and I'll take a chance, took a chance. You put that in, that investment, we've got loads of data too, pays off in just,
Yes.
I mean, just over and over and over again. And it's interesting to me, Francine, that even salespeople have sometimes a challenge investing in sales. And I know certainly it sounds self-serving, but I mean, for any business, my own business too is, I invest in sales and marketing, right? To market. And sometimes like, oh gosh, the budgets, but we never go wrong investing in sales as long as, again, you're looking at the right solution.
Right.
And right. And the difference between a specialist, someone who's you making the phone, you're in the seat, and yes, you're going to pay more per hour than maybe a call center. There's nothing wrong with a call center. That fills a different
Completely.
gap, right? Yeah, exactly. There's certainly always appreciate, and you said some things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's and I appreciate it and certainly enjoy working with you all. And I will, for any of you that don't know United Group Communities, check out their website because Francine is not exaggerating. These are gorgeous communities with in beautiful areas, and like you said, every is unique, and it is true. And we've done a lot of, I don't know, I wonder how many podcasts, as I listened to a podcast and I was listening to it last night, and he said, this is the 477th episode. And I thought, oh, I should count how many episodes, but there's been many conversations around hyper local marketing. And you mentioned knowing the market, and certainly our sales specialists meet the team, we're really part of the team, because selling your, a community, in Sarasota, Florida.
It's gonna be different. We just deployed
Very
you at
different.
New York, you
Mhm.
know, and
Yes, that's right. And
they're like, how are they gonna know what makes us unique and different and special? And the
Yeah.
credibility comes through the way that Grow onboards, because I think something really important, Julie, sales people will seldom invest in sales, is something you said. And salespeople, I think, it's hard to admit that there's a vulnerability. It's hard to identify in your own sales approach, I need help.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so the way that we onboard to a new community, there is a distinct timeline, but it's not rushed. It's not, I think the approaching with sensitivity and being realistic and setting the expectations with the on-site team to lay a good foundation is crucial. And I've been impressed time over time in how that's been done from your group and the onboarding, if you
Thank you.
will.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
because the relationship's important. If they're not received right by the on-site team, it's gonna be bumpy.
absolutely. We approach sales and I approach coaching and I teach others how to coach. We use the same systems and processes as a sales counselor or a leasing manager does with their customer. Relationships, it's not lip service. How do you build relationships? Get to know people. You're interested. You use discovery. You've been on multiple onboarding calls, right? So what we ask open-ended questions. There's some factual things that we need and the assets and the nuts and the bolts, if you will, of your community and the rates and all of that. But what are your differentiating factors? What makes your community unique? What are local landmarks? What is life like, in your local area, right? What's life like in Fleming, Fleming Island,
Right.
which is near Jacksonville, by the way, for those of you that haven't heard of it. It's going to be different than what's life like here in Franklin, Tennessee.
Right.
And it is very important. And it's important for, you and I to have a relationship. Relationships are, the foundation for everything, right? And it's not lip service. We need to do what we teach and train, and now I say the universal we, all of us. And you mentioned something, Francine, that's is really important, and I think we can all relate to it, is that vulnerability. Vulnerability in or maybe the lack of, in some cases, of needing help. Of that, if I say that I need help, I'm a VP of sales, right?
Yeah.
I'm not, you are, you're VP, I'm
Yeah.
a VP of sales, I'm a regional director of sales. I should know, or I'm a leasing manager, I'm a sales director, I've been doing this, we just signed on a new client, she's been on the same job, big CCRC, 28 years.
Yeah.
The sales director there. And she's open, not at first, I think she was
Right.
like, wait a minute, I've been doing this 28 years and you're hiring, who are they? Right.
Right.
And I totally get that, because isn't
Yeah.
it make you like, wait, am I not doing something right? Do I not know? Or I'm a VP of sales, I should have this nailed down, right? When I was a VP of sales, I would hire engage for SWATs. Like,
Right.
could I get a fresh set of eyes here? I'm not fresh at all anymore. It doesn't mean you aren't really good at what you do, to say, hey, could we get some help? To me, that's being very good at what you do.
It's strong. It's more a sign of strength, I've found. And I'm sure that went through my head because to a degree, like all things sales fall under my umbrella. Sales training, development, identification of talent, all the things, market understanding, sales cycles, lead generation, lead cultivation, and like all of the things. So it's not an admission of weakness, it's really aligning with an expert. And like you said, that other set of eyes, and I've just found that I see it more as a partnership, and we try to encourage where we introduce your platform. And now it's kind of widespread. People know who you are within my organization. I'm very proud of that. And they have good, they want to treat you well as a vendor, but you are a partner and a respected partner and a trusted partner. But that came from you being consistent, because you took the building of that relationship with us as important as we did with you. And you proved it. You proved it. But so we don't feel insecure about that we partner with an expert. Like through your organization, we feel like, okay, we got the secret weapon, you know?
The thing with what, well, certainly owning business or jumping off the cliff, right? Just to start a business and then to continue to, always, to me, I'm starting business every single day when I wake
Yeah.
up. But is to continue proving ourselves, right? We are earning our job every day. We earn our job every day. And I know there are a lot, and probably everyone listening, people that listen to podcasts and read, they want to continue to grow and learn and earn their job. But there are others that are, doing their job. They're doing their job. And anyway, they're doing it well. To me, it's a unique difference in saying, if say, well, we could hire a sales specialist or which is great. I love, extra sales hands and ears and eyes is really never a bad thing unless it's a wrong hire. But the difference between that and this is we're 2 hours or 4 hours a day. We start on the phone, we end on the phone, and we're earning our job every day. And you really are, just like when you hire hopefully a really good vendor partner that they're earning, right? They're working in the time that they're charging you for, in essence.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the hope. The beauty of your platform is, and we've done it internally, and we have people that they're expert, they have a higher sales acumen on my own team. Target them at an asset, usually in person, to generate a specific result by doing specific activities. And that's a hyper-focused sales specialist. This is different, it's cleaner. And while we've attempted it in-house, we've attempted sales specialists to convert that traffic and just do solid phone work. You're even internally, and we're a big promoter of internal opportunities. The level of talent, the degree of talent is going to vary. The competing priorities of maybe somebody who has another job responsibility and they're dedicating a certain amount of time, that attention is going to be competing. And there's no doubt about it. So does it work to a degree? Yes. Is it going to generate the guaranteed results that I know what will come from 2 hours of one of your specialists? Probably not. And also, we don't need to worry about, are they going to show up? Are they, is there something that's going to interrupt their flow of work? And we can see through the reporting. We can hear one of your experts was shopped at one of my communities. And I discovered that, and they did really well. I'll share it with you, and we could do a review if you want.
I love it. Learning opportunity, no doubt.
Yeah. So bottom line is it's cleaner, and yes, they are delivering a consistent flow of work, and we can measure from that outcome. Do we want to add time? Do we want to take away time? Do we want, I love the flexibility that comes through the partnership too. We've inserted you for 3 months, 2 months at 3 months at an asset, and you left them on such a good foundation that now the in-place talent, the in-place team is running with it and thriving.
Right.
Because their database is so clean and so like it was perfectly teed up.
That's great. Yeah. We earn our job every day because, the objective is to work ourselves out of a job.
Yeah, because it's hard. I mean, it's
a
tough climate. It's a tough climate, and you provided a great solution that helped us lean into things like training and development and different programs that internally we wanted to perfect, and being reactive to situations that, I mean, we're a national organization, and we can't be everywhere. It provided us some breathing room so we could focus on more holistic improvements to the sales functions of the company. And that from my job, from my seat, I found to be incredibly helpful. And I couldn't have made the advancements that we made in my department without the partnership. So
Francine, I definitely want to have you on again because I mean, I could listen to you all day. And for those of you that don't know Francine, you definitely want to meet her. And you know what? You can get to learn more about her and learn from her at Argentum, right? You and I are presenting at Argentum this year in beautiful Florida, in Tampa.
Tampa.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, if you're listening to this and it's before Argentum 2025, please get your ticket now. But I do want to say that I'd love to talk more on this topic of professional development, professional growth. So you mentioned something, Francine, that's so critically important. And I reached over and I'm reading this book right now, it's a plug, but 10x is easier than 2x. And it's about,
Okay.
growing your business 10 times, or versus two times. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. And it's one of the things that he talks about is certainly not unique or new, but that's in so in order to be efficient and grow and be successful in an organization or in your own business or
Right.
your job, which is running a business, you cannot do everything. You
Right.
can't do everything to everybody. And just like in sales, where there's so much on the plate, or there's so much over here. For me, being a CEO, being an owner, I have a business coach, and he is always,
Yeah.
what are you taking off your plate? What are you giving away?
Yes.
And it's easier than it sounds, but it's not I've got to be the control. Sometimes you don't have somebody, but this example of, look, your sweet spot, right? It is likely not making phone calls and to process, which is very important. And you could be
So
doing,
important.
right. But for a company to take your time to do that, or the equivalent of your time to do that, is not smart business.
Right.
Not so freed up. And the same thing with your team and your field managers and
Right.
regionals, and is say to, hey, look, here's a couple hours, and then take that time, right? And like you said, we're developing training. You're doing you're focusing on the important
Impact areas.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they're longer lasting, sustainable, and
Yes.
evergreen, if you will, that we don't have time to do when we're doing the urgent important, which is calling prospects. Same thing with sales directors. Like if you had 2 hours a day, or you had those 2 hours covered, 4 hours covered, and you could do outreach,
Right.
or you could spend more time doing tours. It's smart business to say, what's my sweet spot? Where should I be spending time to support my team? Because my goal is to make sure they have jobs.
Yes.
Your goal is to make sure, your residents those that serve your residents that they're happy in, because, and make sure everyone has a job.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And it's important work. This is really important work that our on the ground talent is performing day in and day out, and it helps them do it better it's meaningful. So, and it takes from them. So having nice little extra help, hyper focus, very talented help, has, I think, improved the quality of the work-life balance of many of our associates, where we've
Wow.
put in your support as well. I know it has for me. It's kind of like, there's tools, there's competing opinions on AI, ChatGPT, like all the things. That's a big conversation right now. And you're going down this path of, speaking of smart choices, smart business, taking the right direction, that's going to yield the most benefit. And, sometimes taking the help is the powerful move. That's the power move. And using the help and not being stubborn to that, because we can't do all things. And that's probably what that book is speaking about, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it does, and I think I'm gonna do a podcast on this book. I'm no expert, but it really is a 10x is that mindset of, well, you can't keep doing just a little bit more of what you're doing. If you want to get to 4 move-ins instead of 3,
Right.
yeah, it's a little bit more and improving skills, right? If you want to go to, well, we're going to double our portfolio, you can't just work a little bit harder, right?
No.
It's really shifting, and it forces, for lack of a better word, you to challenge your brain. You don't know the answer. I don't even know what you're talking about, or I don't know what to do. But if you're asking your brain and you're focusing, it's a mindset. And I would, to me, the takeaway here is that to look for help in a strategic way.
Quality. It's quality over quantity. Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Be strategic and give yourself the space to think about the solution and ahead. And being reactive sometimes reduces our ability to do that effectively. And our creativity is really what, at this stage of my career, I think my employer is counting on my creativity. And for me to be my most creative self, it takes time and lack of pressure, and then great ideas come. And I think partnering with you as a solution has freed up the time of many, and I feel that's one of my greatest contributions to United, definitely in 24 and will be in 25. I think I'm taking the credit, I'm running with it, and very proud of it, very proud of it.
Francine, I can't thank you enough for taking time and being on the show. You must come back. You must come back.
Be a pleasure.
And yeah, I would love that. And I can't wait to meet you in person.
I know.
Yeah, in sunny Florida.
Yes.
And I know we'll be talking soon. And thank you all for listening to another episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast. Like, share, subscribe. It helps other people find inspiration in professionals in our business, in professionals, period, women in leadership, and wonderful people like Francine that we can all learn from. Thank you very much. Thanks again, Francine.
Absolutely, Julie. Thanks.
And I'll talk to you on the next episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast.
We'd like to thank Advantage Anywhere for sponsoring this episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast. At Advantage Anywhere, we understand senior living communities. Our customizable CRM and automation system is designed to help you convert more leads into move-ins faster, easier, and with less manual effort. With personalized follow-up automations, your team can focus on what matters most, spending time with prospects to get more move-ins. Visit www.advantageanywhere.com to see how we can help you get more move-ins with less stress.